Hello, everyone. Welcome to In His Will. And today I have a little snippet for you. And those of you who are in my cynical, um, you already heard this maybe, but it struck me, and I really wanted to share it with those of you who will be seeing this video, because I thought it was really, um, I don't know, it just sort of jumped out at me. And so, in this particular writing, it is the last paragraph of this date, which is the 14th of October in 1901. This is from volume 4. And the heading of this is Jesus shows himself like a flash and makes her comprehend something about the divine attributes. And this is the last paragraph of that, like 3 paragraph writing that I just thought was very interesting and important. So in this, Louisa is actually speaking, and she said, "I understood that as God creates us, this attribute of charity, love, pours into us and fills us completely of itself in such a way that if the soul corresponded, being filled with the breath of the charity of God, her very nature should be transmuted into charity toward God." Now, what does transmuted mean? Transmuted means that it is turned into, it becomes. Um, so, what she's actually saying in here is her very nature will be transmuted from being a human nature to a divine nature, a divine charity toward God. But as the soul keeps diffusing herself in the love of creatures or of pleasures, excuse me, let me say that again. But as the soul keeps diffusing herself in the love of creatures or of pleasures or of interests or of any other thing, that divine breath keeps going out of the soul. And if the soul arrives at diffusing herself in everything, she becomes empty of divine charity. Very interesting. It's saying, we can either fill ourselves with divine love or we can fill ourselves with things of the world. And the more that we keep attaching ourselves, when it says diffusing ourselves, attaching ourselves to the love of creatures, pleasures, interests, the divine breath, this divine love, this divine charity, this divine infusion goes out of the soul. And if the soul arrives at diffusing herself in everything, she becomes empty of divine charity. But since the soul cannot enter into heaven, if she's not a complex of most pure charity, fully divine, if the soul is saved, this breath which she received in being created, she will acquire again by dint of fire in the purging flames, and only when she comes to the point of overflowing with it, then will she go out. So who knows what an extremely long stop she has to make in the expiatory place. Now, if the creature should be so, what must God be? I believe I am speaking much nonsense, but I'm not surprised because I'm not at all some learned one. I am always an ignorant one, and if there is anything of truth in these writings, it is not mine but God's, while I remain always the little ignorant one that I am. Wow. Well, this little ignorant one, Louisa, is telling us what she's been shown, what she's been taught. When God created us, He created us with this attribute of love. He created us in love. for love. And it says this attribute of charity, love, pours into us and fills us completely of itself in such a way that if the soul corresponded, if the soul responded in like, being filled with the breath of the charity of God, her very nature should be transmuted into charity toward God. So, in other words, we're created in love, and we're created for love, and we are created filled with love. And if we uh, corresponded to this love, if we uh, lived in this love, our nature, our human nature, would be transmuted into charity toward God. It would be formed into charity for God. It would be changed. But as the soul keeps diffusing herself in the love of creatures, pleasures, interests, or any other thing, in other words, in the world, in the things around us, that divine breath keeps going out of the soul. So the more we fill ourselves with love of things, love of creatures, love of pleasures, or anything other than God, this charity that God has poured into our souls in our creation, it just gets pushed out of us. We push God out with our focus, our attention, our love of things, people, pleasures, things of the world. But since the soul cannot enter into heaven, if she is not a complex of most pure charity, fully divine, if the soul is saved, the breath which she fills, this breath which she received in being created, she will acquire. I'm sorry, my phone. Let me silence my phone. I'm so sorry. Now, let me go back. As the soul keeps diffusing herself in the love of creatures, or of pleasures, or of interests, or of any other thing, that divine breath keeps going out of the soul. It gets pushed out. But since the soul can't enter into heaven, we can't enter into heaven with anything, full of anything but God. We can't go into heaven full of the world. We can't go into heaven full of everything the world's put into our souls, into our minds and hearts. We have to be purified. We can only appear before God if we are completely purified. So it says, since the soul cannot enter into heaven if she's not a complex of most pure charity, she's not a dwelling of most pure charity, fully divine. If the soul is saved, this breath which she received in being created, she will acquire again by dint of fire in the purging flames, and only when she comes to the point of overflowing of it, then will she go out. So purgatory is to burn the world out of us. It's not a punishment, it's a ticket into heaven. It burns the world out of us and puts back our proper self, what we were created with, which was a soul of love. So who knows what an extremely long stop she has to make in that expiatory place. So as God purges us, cleanses us of that soul, that is the pain of purgatory, being separated from God and burning away all of these things. And since we can perceive God at that point, I'm sure it's very painful for the soul to realize what they've done. They've replaced this great soul filled with charity with a soul filled with the world, or at least compromise that charity for the world. Now, if the creature should be so, what must God be? If we have to be pure love, oh my goodness, what must God be? The creator of our soul, the being that created us in pure charity, filled us with charity. Then she goes on to say, and I love this, this is just, one of those little glimpses into the humility of Louisa. She said, I believe I'm speaking much nonsense, but I'm not surprised because I'm not at all some learned one. Well, obviously, this is something that Jesus, the divine will, has revealed to her, has shown her, has taught her. She said, I am always an ignorant one, and if there's anything of truth in these writings, it's not mine, but God's. While I remain always the little ignorant one that I am, oh, that we should all be little ignorant ones. Oh, that we should all be so humble, so ready to receive whatever it is that God wants to show us. And so I meditated on this. I thought it was just so beautiful. Just to remember that He created us full of love. He transmuted us into Himself, being full of love. But we pushed Him out because we do have free will. So remember to stay in His will, to live in His will, because to live in His will is to be full of love, full of charity. And rather than things of the world, the pleasures of the world, we get the pleasures of heaven. We get the things of heaven, the peace, the contentment, the consolation of God. So with that, I say, God bless you. Thank you. Share this video if you like. Well, actually, I don't know. You may not be able to share it because I may put this out to members only first and then to everyone else. So God bless you, and remember to stay in His will. Bye-bye.
In His will.